Hi, my name is Lily and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my birthday book haul. So you might notice that the camera angle is a bit different, or it might be a bit wonky, I'm not sure. I can't find the stuff I need for my tripod, so I'm filming it in a slightly different setup, but hopefully it still looks okay. Fingers crossed. So I thought I would go through all the books that I have acquired over the birthday period. So there's going to be a couple that I've bought myself and then some that were gifts from friends and family. And yeah, I don't do hauls very often because I'm not one to buy books in bulk, so I always try to do a birthday one because it's my one opportunity to do hauls. So let's get started. I just want to say thank you to everybody who sent me any gifts. It was really sweet of everybody that did, and I really appreciated it. So first of all, I visited York's queer bookshop, which is called Portal. If you're ever in York, I recommend checking them out because they do some amazing books in there, and I always find something that I've never heard of before that I'm really excited to read. They stock books by queer authors and books with queer characters, so it could have both or one of those two, and they're amazing. They always have really great recommendations if you need any help, and they stock so many great books, and they especially also stock in the UK. They stock books that are only printed in America. They'll import them for you. So if you're struggling to find a book that is printed in America and it's queer, chances are Portal would be able to acquire it for you to purchase in the UK. So really great option. You can get to them through online means as well and buy through them online as well as going into the store. So if you're looking for a UK independent bookstore to support, definitely go check them out, they're amazing. So I bought two books in Portal, which is usually what I do. The first one is Ellen Outside the Lines by A.J. Sass. This is the same author as Anna on the Edge, so this is another middle grade contemporary. I don't believe this one has any like queer main characters like there was in Anna on the Edge, but this one is about Ellen, who is 13 and she's autistic. She only really has one best friend and she's been happy with that, she's been coping, but unfortunately this friend is starting to drift away, and they're now on a school trip, and on this school trip they have to complete a scavenger hunt, and Ellen is hoping this will repair their friendship. So yeah, it sounds really sweet and really fun. Obviously I will try reading so many different autistic books and this one sounds really fun. I don't know if it's an Own Voices book, I haven't had a chance to look that up yet, but AJ Sass is non-binary, I believe, using he they pronouns, so that's why it was found in Portal. The next one is one I also haven't heard about, but I saw it and it looked really intriguing, so I'm hoping it'll be good, and that is Young Blood by Sasha Lawrence. This is about a boarding school for vampires. So this one is about Kat and Taylor, who used to be friends and have drifted apart, but now they have been smushed back together again as they both are attending this elite boarding school for vampires. In this universe, vampires drink a blood substitute because humans have been infected with a virus that kills vampires, and basically at this boarding school they're kind of avoiding each other because their friendship ended really poorly, but then one of them comes across a dead vampire and they discover that together they're going to have to unravel lots of secrets about this vampire school. So it's apparently meant to be like dark academia plus vampires, so people have been saying it's kind of like the Vampire Diaries meets dark academia basically. So it sounds really interesting. I'm not a huge vampire fan, but this one sounds kind of more tasteful, so I'm really looking forward to it. It sounds really interesting. It's got real mixed reviews online, so I'm quite intrigued to see what I think of it. It was one that I actually picked up without looking up the reviews, which I don't normally do. I think if I looked at the reviews I probably wouldn't have actually bought this one, but I'm kind of glad I didn't because I'm looking forward to seeing what I think of it. And then my other purchase was from Waterstones, which actually I may regret because I realised after I bought it that I believe this is going to be an upcoming Book Boxes book that I do subscribe to, but perhaps I will like both editions and keep both editions because this one is a Waterstones exclusive with exclusive content, and that is The Book Eaters by Sunny Dean. This one sounds amazing. It's another dark academia and it's another like gothic horror. So this is about 6 families who live in the UK who secretly survive by eating the pages of books. They are the book eaters. But occasionally a child will be born who is a mind eater who must eat the souls and minds of humans. And in this book, our female main character has a son who is a mind eater. So she runs away from her family to try and protect him, to prevent him from being made into a weapon for the family. And she is now trying to find a cure for his condition, whilst also making sure that he has enough minds and souls to live off. But the more minds and souls he eats, the more he loses himself. So it's apparently got a queer love story in it. It's horror, gothic, dark academia style, and I'm so excited. This one sounds amazing. I cannot wait to read it in like October, November time. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be one of the ones I pick up really soon because I'm starting to come out of my romance mood and into my like gothic-y mood. So yes, I'm very excited to read this one. And yes, I know it's very obvious that it's going to be one of the BookBox's books, but I forgot. And this one was an Autos exclusive. It's got black sprayed edges, so you know, if the cover is really different, I might still like this edition better. So oh well. And if I decide to not read, if I never read this before the next BookBox subscription arrives, I potentially could return it. We'll see what happens, but for now this is what I bought from Waterstones in New York. Okay, and now I'm going to go through all the books that I received from friends and family, and I think I've got them in the order that I opened them. The first two were from Connor, and I will link his Instagram below. So the first one is actually probably the one that I was the most excited for when I first opened it, and that is The Perfect Child by Lucinda Berry. So this is a horror thriller book, and it's about a couple who decide to adopt a child into their family, thinking this will complete their perfect family unit, but there's something sinister about this child that they have adopted, and she starts to turn against the mother. That's all I really know about it. It was recommended to me by a horror reader on TikTok. Well, not me specifically, it was in one of his like horror recommendation videos, and something about the premise really grabbed me. Everyone that I've seen on TikTok has rated this very highly, as has Connor. So yeah, this is one that I'm really looking forward to reading. It's apparently very disturbing, but I love a bit of a creepy read every now and then. And then the other book that Connor gifted me was The Darkness Outside Us by Elliot Schreifer. So this is a best-selling author, but I'm not sure, I've never heard of his other books. On the back it says he's also written Damsel and Little and Lion, but I'm not familiar with those. This is a sci-fi, as you might be able to tell from the cover, and it is about two boys who are on a ship going on a rescue mission to rescue one of their sisters, except they are sworn enemies, and the guy who his sister is missing doesn't remember why he's on the ship and what's happening, and there's lots of weird mysteries around the ship, and they realise they're going to have to work together on this rescue mission, and there's a lot more to uncover than they believed. So it's meant to be quite twisty and turny. Again, another TikTok recommendation. It's a queer love story, so I am very excited for this one. And now the next two are from my friend Ian, and I love when Ian buys me books because it's always such a surprise, because he chooses really different books to what a lot of other people pick for me, and it's always so exciting to see what he's picked. So again, really appreciate it and really excited. So the first one is Double Booked by Lily Lincoln. This is a contemporary, it's kind of marketed as a rom-com, but from the reviews I'm led to understand it's more of a contemporary than a rom-com. It's more about her life than her romance. This is about a girl named Georgia who is in a long-term relationship with her boyfriend, very steady, very plain, very boring life, believes that she is straight, and then one day she auditions for a lesbian rock band, I believe, and discovers that she thinks she might be bisexual and decides to start living this double life with this rock band and her boyfriend. And yeah, it's about her exploration of her sexuality and what happens when you lead a double life like she attempts to. So sounds really interesting. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna like this, but it's one of those that I've seen so much that I just really want to give it a go, and I've seen some really interesting quotes from it on TikTok. So it's one that, yeah, I'm very intrigued to read it because I really want to know what happens to her. So thank you very much. I'm very excited to give this one a go. And then the other book that Ian bought me is one that's definitely going to make me cry according to everything online, but one that I feel like I need to read because I'm missing out on it, and that is You've Reached Sam by Dustin Tao? I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that one. I know this one's going to break my heart because everyone says it's going to break my heart. I feel like it's the modern day The Fault in Our Stars for a lot of people. This one is about a teenage girl whose boyfriend dies. I think that's Sam. I assume that's Sam. Yes, her boyfriend Sam dies, and after he dies she decides to call his number so that she can listen to his voicemail and hear his voice again, but he answers, and it's kind of about her having this second chance to talk to him and what she does. So yeah, it's going to be heartbreaking, I know, but I really want to read it. It sounds like an amazing premise, so I'm very excited for it. And then the next two books were given to me by a family friend. The first one is The Last Act of Love, which I think I saw recommended by Amy from Amy's Bookshelf, as she reads a lot of this style of nonfiction. So this one is about Kathy and her brother and her family, and basically when she was a teenager, her brother, who was also a teenager, is walking home from a night out and he gets hit by a car and ends up in a coma and in sort of a vegetative state for several years. And it's about her and her family's journey to deciding to turn off his life support and to end his life. And it sounds like, I know people will be getting sat here like, why do you want to read that? I'm very interested in that process because we lost my grandfather earlier this year, and it was a very different process for us. He was never on this kind of life support or anything like that. So I'd really like to know what it was like for her family from that perspective, and it's been very, very highly acclaimed. Lots of really amazing reviews. People rave about how thoughtful, kind and well written this book is. So yeah, it's one that I really want to read because it just sounds so moving and so lovely, and it's a kind of insight that you don't get from a lot of people, so it just sounds amazing. So yeah, I have no idea if the family friends knows what this book was about when they picked it, but I'm gonna cry again probably. And then the other book they chose is The Travelling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arakawa. This is a contemporary literary fiction book translated from Japanese, and it is about this cat, I think her name is Nana, riding in the passenger seat with her owner as he goes on this journey. I think they might be moving house, and on the way they stop to visit various friends and family, and it's all told from her perspective of what's going on. I really love Japanese literary fiction. There's a real directness to it and a lyricalness to it that I really enjoy, so I'm very excited to read more of it. And I also love how much literary fiction there is in Japan around cats. Yeah, it's one that I have seen around, I've seen people recommend it, and yeah, I'm very excited to read it because I do genuinely love Japanese literary fiction. The next two are from Beth from Books Nest, so thank you Beth, this is very sweet of you. The first one is The Secret of the Wings, book 2. So this is the sequel to a book that I read an arc of, and I think I want to say I read it during the graphic novel-a-thon, but I might not have. It might have been before that. I can't remember when I read this, but I really enjoyed the first book. It's set in a fantasy world where there's a different... I can't remember much about this book. Oh, it's so hard. It's so long ago that I read it, I think. But it's basically about different races in this fantasy world, and one of them, which this main character is kind of shunned. I think it's because they're magicians or elves or something. And it's kind of about his story of escape and survival, and overthrowing the people causing the persecution. So this is book 2, and I'm really excited because there was a lot of setup in book 1, so I'm really excited for there to be sort of more unfolding in book 2, and also a queer romance began at the end of book 1, so hopefully we get to see more of it in book 2. And then the other book that Beth gifted me is the third Magnus Chase book by Rick Riordan. Now, you may be thinking, I haven't ever heard you talk about the Magnus Chase books on this channel. That's because I haven't read them. But the reason that book 3 was on my wish list is because I actually do own book 1 and 2, and I really, really want to do a reading vlog of the different Rick Riordan series that I haven't read, because I've only read the Percy Jackson series. I didn't read any of his other series, so I've been trying to collect the books as I've seen like box sets appear in the works and stuff like that, so that I can do a reading vlog where I read the different series from Rick Riordan. So this allows me to finally have a complete series, which is Magnus Chase, that I can now read and vlog. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping to do that in November because October is Arctober. So yeah, in November hopefully I will binge some Rick Riordan and vlog for you. So thank you Beth, because this is going to allow me to create that content. I'm very excited. The next 2 books are gifted to me by my friend Livy from Shells of Starlight, again linked below. So thank you Livy. These are 2 that, one of them I'm not even surprised Livy sent me, but the other one was a nice surprise because it's one I've been playing around with whether or not I'd buy it because I've seen it so much on TikTok, but I'm really glad someone's bought it for me because now I will read it. But the first one is Pride and Premeditation by Tisra Price. So this is Pride and Prejudice but reimagined as a murder mystery in the Regency era. I haven't read Pride and Prejudice, I will admit. I'm not sure whether I'm going to try and read Pride and Prejudice first or this first. We will see, because Livy has gifted me both of those books and I still haven't read Pride and Prejudice, but ignore that. But this one is, as I said, Pride and Prejudice rewritten as a murder mystery. So this one follows Lizzie, who is a teenager, and she really wants to show that she has the ability to work in law, even though it is not allowed for women to work in law in this time period. So when a murder takes place, she decides she wants to try and poach this client from his defense attorney, who is Mr. Darcy, and prove that he did not commit the murder that he is being accused of. So her and Mr. Darcy are both trying to investigate this murder and prove that his client did not do it, but they're both trying to steal the client. And obviously there's tension growing between them. It sounds amazing. Pride and Prejudice is one that I know I'm really going to enjoy, and I'm just intimidated to read it because so many of my friends love it, so many people love it, but I will read it eventually, and I'm really looking forward to reading this version because it's kind of YA, so it could make the story more accessible for me. And then the other book that Livy gifted to me is Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse, I'm not sure. This is an adult fantasy. Like I said, it's one that I've seen on TikTok a lot that people have been raving about. It's been nominated for so many awards, but it's one that I'm nervous to pick up because I do struggle with adult high fantasies, but I really want to give more of them a go, so I really appreciate that someone's bought this for me. I feel like many of the books on this pile are books that I have toyed with getting for myself but been too nervous to, but once someone else has got it for me, I will read it. This is definitely one of those. I don't know a lot about this. The premise sounds kind of complicated, but it's kind of about a country or realm that's currently in a moment of imbalance, and there's a lot of like stuff is on the brink of turning. And so it's meant to be like tension, political, all that kind of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to give it a go. It's not too chunky, the words aren't too small, so fingers crossed I enjoy it. And then I have one more book on this pile from my friend Ness from Ness, and that is Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. So I haven't read any Elizabeth Lim yet, and I own this and 6 Crimson Cranes, but I know I'm going to love both of them because both the premises sound amazing. So this one has been billed as Mulan meets Project Runway, which 2 things I absolutely love. So I could not be more excited for this book. This one is about our female main character who really wants to be a tailor and is really good at it, but is not allowed to be because she's a woman, and so all she's allowed to do is marry. But then her father is called to take part in a competition to become the emperor's new imperial tailor, and he's very unwell, so she goes in his place disguised as a man, and so she competes in this competition to make 3 magical dresses for the emperor to win the position as imperial tailor. It sounds amazing. I could not be more excited for this book. It sounds incredible, and I want to read this really soon. I think I'm going to read it over Christmas or like the winter period because it feels like a very wintry read to me. And yeah, I'm so excited. It's one that I forget about a lot, but then as soon as I remember it exists, I'm like, oh, I really want to read that book. So I'm so excited. So these are all of the books that I received or purchased for myself with my birthday money. And I could not be more grateful. I am so excited. I received so many amazing books, and as I said before, so many of these are books that I've toyed with the idea of reading, and it's ones I probably wouldn't have committed to myself, so someone else buying them for me means that I will actually read them and give them a go, which is amazing. I love being pushed out of my comfort zone. So thank you so much to the people who gifted me the books in this video. So yes, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to see more content from me. All of my social media links are in the description below, and if you'd like to leave me a comment to let me know you're here, leave me a birthday cake in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.